My absolute favorite thing to do is work with women who are in their 40s and 50s and are really trying to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their lives. You know, here's the thing that's exciting about them. They are going to live so much longer than previous generations did. In fact, really, most people were dead by the age of 40. You know, they're going to live until they're 90. They're going to live until they're 100. They have so many new options. They have so many different things that they can do. And yet so many of them can't quite figure it out. And that's where I come in. That's what I love to do. That's how I love to work with women.
Well, you love to work with them, but what's the problem that you're addressing? Why are you called to this work?
Well, what I'm finding is that they're kind of at two ends of the continuum. Some of them are just careening off the walls and off the ceiling because they're trying so many things but they can't make any sense out of what they're doing. And some of them just get stuck, absolutely stuck. And they decide after 40 that life is over, their children are gone, they're bored with their jobs, maybe they're bored with their spouses, and they just, well, this is it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be bored and eventually I'm going to die. That's crazy. That's just crazy. And what I can do as a coach is work with these women to figure out what they can do next, what they want to do, what do they love. I mean, I think there's nothing better than helping a woman create a totally outrageously satisfying life.
Is it really a possibility that one can work at what one loves? Is that an idea that is basically a cliche or a new age idea, or can you really succeed at work that you love?
You really can do work that you love, and you really can succeed at that work. There may be a period of time where there are compromises that are needed. And this, again, is something that I will help someone figure out and that I've done many, many times. Maybe you need to start as a volunteer doing something, and then you move into it as something that you're being paid for. Or maybe you juggle a couple of different things, one of which might be more profitable but you're not crazy about, and the other is the thing that really speaks to your heart. There are always ways to put together a plan to do it. And I think the trick also is figuring out when is enough enough. You can't do 14 different things. What speaks to your heart? And what speaks to your heart is going to make you happy.
You've been inspired by some research that you've been conducting. Can you talk about that research?
I have. I am having the best time. I am working on a book, it's almost finished, called 50 over 50, Stories and Lessons from 50 Women Who Have Changed Their Lives. And these women have incredible stories. And some of them have done wildly outrageous things that I might never even think of. And some of them have done very simple things that are making them incredibly happy. So there's a woman I've been working with off and on for years who had been a data entry clerk most of her career. And she was fine with that, she liked it, but really there's not a place for the data entry clerk anymore in this world. And she was bored being home and she didn't know what she could do. And she figured out that all the years she had spent nursing her mother were going to be useful. She applied for a job as a home health aide. She's been doing that for 4 or 5 years now. She loves it. And her clients adore her. She's making a huge difference. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have a woman who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro because she wanted to. It was her 50th birthday present to herself. I interviewed a woman who had a double lung transplant, and she just fought and fought to live. She wasn't ready to go. And she's gone back to work. She's successful. She's picked up her life. Another one who was an IT consultant and was making money hand over fist, working 24/7. Her sister got ill. Her sister developed a brain tumor. And she was able to stop working and be with her sister until her sister died. And then she said, I have this whole bucket list. I'm not doing anything that's on my list. Why do I need to work this hard? And we've been doing a little work together. I did a little coaching with her. She is now living on a sailboat in Florida. She got her captain's license, and she's thinking about starting up a sailing school just for women because she's developed a whole theory about how women learn differently from men, and she wants to be able to teach them. So these are a few of the stories, and with my own client population, I've had women who have realized that they hated what they were doing, but they were really good at something else, and they moved into that. Women who needed to move out of that kind of a guilt and anxiety that you're going to be letting people down if you become yourself, you know. And we work together, and this is the other thing about 50 over 50. I really wanted to see if my whole life blueprint method worked, which is how I do my coaching with constructing plans for various aspects of life. And I found that most of these women had done similar kinds of planning, and that the issues that they had thought about over their lives were exactly the issues that I was already coaching around. So it was a wonderful thing.
One of the things that I'm curious about in terms of your coaching is how do you get the women to give themselves permission to have the life that they want?
One of the things that I find really valuable is encouraging the women to tell their stories. And there's something magic in telling your story. When you start looking back at the things that you've done and you're able to catalog them, it really is an extraordinary self-esteem boost. Now, it's interesting, with my male clients, I'm always telling them, take off that Superman suit. If you don't have the Superman suit, you can't be walking around thinking you could do everything in the world. But with most of my female clients, I'm telling them, put on that Wonder Woman suit, because you are magnificent, you are wonderful. And the minute, I couldn't give you a specific technique because it's different for everyone, but we get there. And the minute we get there, wham, they're just taking off like rockets. And the strength that they didn't know they had, it's something that you draw out of them as a coach in hearing their stories and having them tell their stories and having them talk to you about their lives. Wait a minute, you were strong enough to get a divorce from an absolute monster? You were strong enough to stand up to buyers who wanted to force you out of your job? You're not strong enough to make decisions about your own life? What's wrong here? So those are the conversations, and they're incredible.
How would you describe your style as a coach?
I don't know. It's very eclectic. I'm a really good listener, and people open up to me easily. I love hearing their stories. I'm curious, and I think curiosity is at the heart of really good coaching. And then when I need to be, I pull myself up to my old teacher best, and I'm very directive. And I don't let people get away with stuff, you know. When I have a client who is very busy beating themselves up, I use a line that I stole from another coach. Give me the stick. I'm holding the stick so you can't beat yourself up anymore. And they laugh, but it works every time.